Hello, my name is Tony Andrick. I'm the designer of the Everything Bee Vacuum Generation 1 and now the Gen 2. I want to talk to you about what makes the Gen 2 even better than what the Gen 1 has. So if you haven't seen the Gen 1, go back and review that, and I'm just going to upgrade from there. First, it carries in the vertical position, so it's easier to walk through doorways and so forth. It's got a 7-gallon capacity. We've put over 4 gallons worth of bees in there, which is over 40,000 bees, and it handles that volume just fine. It's got these nice, comfortable chest shoulder straps. They're padded, normal backpack straps. It's got the cross chest strap, so you're not worried about losing it. The nozzle now swivels, so you hold it here, and if you need to twist and so forth, before you had to turn it, and it was a little harder. Vacuum, the whole unit still weighs about 10 pounds, so it's still fairly easy to get around with. You still have the remote control that you can adjust your speed, and that's something I'm going to talk about again. When you're just removing comb, you're cutting comb, you don't want the bees under all that vacuum pressure struggling to breathe. So what you do is you turn it down to whisper mode, and this moves just a tiny bit of air. It keeps them a little cooler, it gives them some fresh oxygen, and the bees are doing just fine. When you're normally using it, you're going to put it about 50%, about there. And that's about the rate that'll just pull the bees off the comb. If you get into a spot where you've got 20,000 bees draped there, just take off the nozzle. And you can take the vacuum all the way up to high speed. In high speed, this vacuum can pick up 5,000 bees in 30 seconds. But keep in mind that your bees are going to suffocate for long term at that speed. So that's good to suck up several thousand bees, turn it back down to whisper, let them catch their breath, and then do it again. So with that, you can pick up 10, 20,000 plus bees in just a few minutes. But that's nice. You've got the full variable speed wherever you want that. And it's not that loud. You can probably hear me talking. Here's about my normal operating speed. You can probably, and I'm soft spoken, you can probably still hear me over the vacuum. All right, so let me show you some of the additional features. Once you're done and you've got the bees in the vacuum, so now you've got all the bees up in here. So you've got the bees there. How do you get them from the bucket into the box without all the bees escaping? All right, so let's say you've done your removal. You've got a full box of brood, rubber banded in frames. You've got a bottom board. You don't want that to be an escapable spot. But you put your box on top of that. You take an empty super. It's important that this is empty. Put that on there. And you're going to make this nothing more than a piece of plywood, the size of your hive body. You're going to take your empty bucket, turn it over on your plywood, draw a circle, cut that circle out, and what you're going to find is that the bucket just sits inside that, where it's in a pretty secure position. So now you've got your brood, you got your empty super, you've got that plywood on top. You now unscrew the vacuum head. This is the top part. It just unscrews from there. It's got a gasket seal. But you unscrew that, and underneath it is what I call the basket. It's a barrier that keeps the bees below. All of your tens of thousands of bees are sitting down here, and your equipment and everything else up here is protected from the bees escaping. Now, if you're going to leave the bees in here for a while, take a few clips, larger clips, hold them here. You can spray them with a little sugar water, with a little bit of water. They're going to stay in here for quite a while. By the way, another feature of the Gen 2 gate valve. So you pull your hose out, close the gate valve. It's got a little ventilation. So you can, with the head, you can leave it on whisper mode and it'll be just fine. Or you can take that off and then just set this down. The bees long term do better sitting sideways in the bucket versus vertically. Anyways, So for doing the removal, you've now got the bees in here, you've taken the vacuum head off, you reach in and loosen up this basket because it kind of secures itself as it's being used. And practice this. The first time you do this, you're going to be really nervous. After you've done it once or twice, you're going to love it. You've got this loose. You've got your brood down below. You simply take this, drop it on top. Give it 3 or 4 thumps. I know the first time you're going to do this, you're going to give it about 30 thumps, but really half a dozen is all you need. And when you do that, 99.9% of the bees have now fallen down. Take your bucket off, slide a screen cover or something on top, and now your bees, within moments, are going to be crawling off and down and covering their brood. So you'll be recombining your brood and bees on site. That's a wonderful feature. And it happens within seconds. The only minus is this. Your basket is now sitting down here, buried by 10 or 20,000 fairly angry bees. The answer is very simple. Take the basket, leave it there. If you're doing another removal, with my deluxe version, you'll get an extra basket. Take your extra basket, drop it in there, screw the head back on, and you're back up and running. But you can come back, take this basket out later when the bees have calmed down, take off your empty box and so forth. So that's the simplicity of getting all of your bees combined with their brood quickly. Put a couple straps around all of this, and now you can haul this back home or to your bee yard or wherever you're taking them. Keep in mind the battery will run, I used to advertise 4 to 6 hours. Now I tell people over 6, because most of my customers are running it actually 8+ hours. It depends on how much you do your power management, speeding up and slowing down. The Gen 2 is definitely the choice of the professionals. The guys that are out and doing 2 or 3 cutouts a day, they absolutely love these things. It's small, it fits in the back of your pickup or your car or in your trunk. I now have a charger that, in case you forgot to charge a battery, you can plug this in and it'll actually run the vacuum at full speed in the emergency case where you might need that. But in reality, as long as you charge the battery daily, and it's a lithium-ion battery, it will last for years. It's rated for 500 cycles at 80% discharge, so it doesn't have a battery memory or anything like that. The Gen 2 is definitely what all of my customers are telling me they like. I've made the design improvements that they wanted above and beyond what the Gen 1 offered. And it's just a wonderful fun. It brings the fun back to doing removals. If you compare this to any other vacuum out there where you're hauling piece after piece and you're stretching out extension cords and you're rolling them up, you're going to probably save half an hour to an hour on every single removal. And when it's 100 degrees out and you're suited up, that hour of time, it's actually time dimension, it's going to feel like 3 hours that you saved. Thank you very much for listening. God bless and stay safe.